Hello dear students, today we are discussing the religious policy of Akbar. Akbar is the great emperor of India and he ruled between 1556 and 1605. Akbar has been considered as one of the greatest rulers of India, and because of the qualities of his head and heart, he has been considered Akbar the Great. So, Akbar the Great was the title given by many historians, especially by V.A. Smith. V.A. Smith had made an elaborate study of Akbar and has written 2 volumes titled Akbar the Great Mughal. So, these 2 volumes give us immense information about the life and achievements of Akbar, especially his religious policy. Akbar is known for his personal qualities, his conquests, his administration, and his religious policy, and also the magnanimity of his personality. Among these qualities, the most striking quality is his religious policy. Now we will discuss the religious policy of Akbar. So, Akbar had to rule over India, which consists of Hindus as the majority, and it is a country where the people of many of the major religions live. Therefore, he had to form a policy which was pleasant and which could be followed by the people of all other faiths. Therefore, he formulated a distinct or unique religious policy which was the combination of all the major religions of the world, like Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, Jainism, Buddhism and Zoroastrianism. So, Akbar had made attempts to study the fundamentals of these religions and also had invited the people or the teachers of these religions to his court and asked them to explain to him the principles of these religions, basic principles of this religion. And by studying or knowing from them the principles of different religions, Akbar was convinced that he had to formulate a new religious policy which would be worth following or practical to all his subjects. This is how he formulated a new policy, and about that policy we are going to discuss now. We know that Akbar was born on 15th of October 1542 in the outhouse of a king called Rana Veersal of Amarkot of Sindh area. And Rana Amarkot was a Hindu ruler. And Akbar and his father Humayun were Sunni Musalmans. And he lived for some years in his childhood in the same house of Rana Veersal. This is how he was brought up in the religious atmosphere of Hinduism. And he was much interested to note the Hindu practices of life also. Therefore, he was impressed by the universality of the principles of Hinduism. And after that, we know that Akbar was a sincerely religious minded man. His religious interest or Catholicity was not a superficial one, or not it was an outward show, but he was a sincere religious minded man. We know that his son Jahangir used to criticize his father in all possible ways, and we know that he had stood up against his own father Akbar. But even then, Jahangir says that his father never for a moment forgot God. So he was always remembering the creator of the world, God. And Akbar himself used to say that there existed a bondage between the creature and the creator which is not expressible in language. Such a bondage was there between God and soul. And when Akbar was ruling over India, Badauni, a court historian and a great critic of Akbar, used to say, or he has said in his history book, that Akbar used to sit many a morning near the palace in lonely and a melancholy mood, having his head bent over his chest, and it appeared that it was gathering the bliss of the early morning hours. And Akbar was much worried about the miseries of human life. That is why it appeared that he wanted to find out a way by which a soul can be peaceful and he could be free from restlessness. That is why he wanted to formulate a new religious policy. We know that certain external factors also made him to formulate a new religious policy. The external factors were like this. He was a Sunni Musalman, but he was born in the house of a Hindu, and his guardian, Bairam Khan, was a Shia Musalman, and his teacher was a Shia Musalman. So all these conflicting religious ideas had immense influence on him, and that had driven him to find out a good religion or a ground where the people of all religions could meet. Thus, he wanted to found a new religion. And when he was a small boy, he was not actually much interested in education, but he was immensely happy in hunting of animals, taming of animals also. And Akbar is not known for his education, but still, when he was a small boy, he had a teacher who had much influence on him, and his name was Abdul Latif. So Abdul Latif had taught him the principle of Sulhi Kul. Sulhi Kul means universal peace, peace of the universe. And Akbar therefore used to believe that this world should be made full of peace. And without peace, people cannot lead a comfortable life. That idea was there in his mind for many more years in his life. And these ideas broadened his view. And we know that he was attracted more by the teachers of Bhakti movement also. So during the rule of Muslims and the rule of Mughals, there was in India what is called Bhakti movement. And there are many teachers of this movement like some Ramdas, then Santa Tukaram, Ekanath, Surdas, Mirabai and others. So from the lives of these great Bhakti teachers, he was drawing many good lessons. And he was equally interested in the lifestyle of Sufi saints also. So he perhaps concluded or understood that peaceful life could be led by following a spiritual life. This is how Akbar used to pray always God, and as Jahangir has already, as we have seen, never for a moment he forgot God. And this is how he was more attracted by the religious principles of different religions of the world. That is why in the year 1598, Akbar invited great teachers of these religions from all over the world and requested them to explain to him the major or important principles of their religions.